Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Rewind that. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, today we are going to be going over the latest episode of Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 2, Episode 4 called Getting These Ends. Alright, the episode starts off with Carrie waiting in a dark, secluded area near the woods for Zeke, okay? And that's a definite no-no for me, all right? But anyway, Zeke doesn't show up, but Monet does, and she breaks Carrie's car window, gets in, holds the gun to her head, and tells Carrie that she needs to find out who killed Jabari so that Zeke is protected. Monet lets Carrie know that if she doesn't do this, she's going to have to answer to her, and she'll have to worry about losing way more than her job. Next, the dean called the meeting where he had Carrie, Detective Whitman, and Stern there, right? And Tate was there as a liaison. So they all start asking Whitman why he's harassing Zeke, okay? And Carrie lets them all know that he has no evidence. So Whitman says he has motive that he cannot discuss with them right now, okay? And Tate jumps up and was like, Professor Milgram, do you have any thoughts on what Zeke's motives might be? So, Carrie says that she saw in Jabari's notebook that he wrote about a potential drug pipeline on campus. And guys, I don't see her reason for bringing this up, but thank you, girl, because now the dean tells him that he will authorize a discreet but immediate drug sweep of the dorms. And I was like, oh my gosh, Lauren, okay? We already know that Rashad'S put drugs in her drawer in last week's episode, so obviously this is going to come back on her, right? Anyway, Stern tells Detective Whitman that if they don't find anything worthwhile during the sweep, he'll need him to go away. So Whitman tells Stern that he doesn't take orders from him, but Stern lets him know that everyone takes orders from him, okay? And then he says, I'll be sure to remind the commissioner of that when we have dinner later this week. Next, after the meeting, Rashad tells Carrie that he overheard her conversation with Whitman about Zeke, and she's the connective tissue between Zeke Cross and Jabari Reynolds. So Carrie admits that her and Zeke were together the night Jabari was murdered, which makes him innocent, right? So Tate says, I keep wondering why Whitman is so focused on you and Zeke. And it's because y'all got a history. Then he laughs and says, what a messy situation you're in. One brother in the ground, one brother in the hot seat, and Captain America in the middle. And ain't that the freaking truth, guys? Anyway, so Carrie decides to flip it on Tate and tell him that it's not about her. It's about him and how heroic it would appear if he helped prove Zeke's innocence. Then she finishes by saying, that's how you win elections. Then she walks away, leaving him to think, of course, right? Next, Davis meets up with Monet and tells her that he'll represent Zeke for $1 million. And I was like, come on, Davis, why you gotta charge all that, And if Tariq didn't tell him that Monet would pay anything to protect Zeke, McLean probably wouldn't have come that strong, One thing about McLean is he's pretty dirty, I enjoy watching his character, but that Negro's unethical, okay? But anyway, Monet opens her safe only to find that the money is missing. So McLean tells her that he'll need the money in 3 days in order to keep Zeke out of prison. So the next thing we know, guys, we're in another scene where Monet has her foot on a man's head and she's pressing it to the pavement. This is the contractor she hired for the bar, and he tells her that he doesn't have the money. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that the man's ear is like a few inches away from his head as well. So, just totally freaking gross. Anyway, so after he tells her that he doesn't have the money, Monet says, wrong answer. Then she kills him, all right? Then she goes home and tells the kids that the money is missing from the safe and asks anybody if they have any idea about this. And of course, no one has any answers, but we do see Diana's shifty eyes, okay? But the bottom line is they got to come up with $1 million in 3 days, okay? So after Monet tells Kane and Diana to go with her, Diana goes off alone and texts McLean to ask if he could transfer the money she gave him for her father's case to Zeke's. And McLean was like, absolutely not. It's already in motion for your father, okay? And I ain't gonna lie, guys. If Diana took that money, and obviously it's looking like she did, it definitely went over my head in last week's episode. And it's a daggone shame because she made an innocent man get killed. So this is another reason why these kids need to stay in their freaking lanes and stop overstepping, because it seems that every time one of them oversteps, somebody gets in trouble, okay? Especially somebody innocent. Next, Tariq and Lauren come to Canonical Studies holding hands and all that, okay? So I thought it was cute and everything, but I got a little concerned when Tariq and Lauren had their difference in opinion about their assignment where they had to justify doing something unethical if it protected someone they loved or maybe even themselves, right? Lauren feels like you can't truly be a good person if you go through life justifying everything you do. And I could definitely agree with that, right? Because then you're not taking accountability for anything. You're just making excuses for everything, right? But Tariq says, what if it's to protect you in a life or death situation? And Lauren says, well, I guess I'll have to be in that situation to find out, okay? And who knows? Maybe she will be in that type of situation to find out. You never know. Lauren might have to catch a body her daggone self. We don't know this, guys. All right. So, of course, Lauren and Tariq are going to have some differences because of, just their backgrounds and stuff. But I don't want it to be enough to come between them. Right. And I know that's probably asking a lot, but whatever. Next, Kamal is introduced to Whitman and is also brought in to work on Jabari's murder case. So when Whitman finds out that Kamal is Rashad'S brother, he already has a little attitude and wonders if this was all planned or a coincidence. Anyway, Whitman starts going on about how he already has Zeke as a suspect and there's motive and a connection. Then he tries to get smart and say that any detective with eyes can see the connection and all this crap, right? And he tried to ask Kamal how long he's been a detective, right? So Kamal was like, watch your tone with me, okay? There's no connection until you speak to Ramirez. Kamal also asked if there was a thorough search done for Ramirez, and this idiot Whitman just says, yeah, we're looking into it, or we're looking for him, right? Anyway, so long story short, guys, Whitman decides to give Kamal the task of doing the drug sweep at Stansfield, and I'm sure he did this because he wants Kamal out of his hair. Next, Kamal didn't waste any time doing that drug sweep, okay? Because next thing we know, he's interrogating Lauren, which I was afraid would happen. So Lauren just tells Kamal that the drugs are not hers. She also tells him that she's not a snitch. But Kamal wasn't trying to let up, so Professor Milgram comes in and speaks to him on Lauren's behalf. She tells Kamal that if Lauren says she doesn't know who the drugs belong to, then she doesn't know. She also lets Kamal know that Lauren is an honor student, not a criminal. But Kamal says, honor student or not, I'm going to shake every tree in the league until the drug kingpin falls out. So Carrie asks Kamal if she could speak with him alone, and she lets him know that she used to be in law enforcement and wants to help. She tells Kamal that she could even get Lauren to help. So Kamal lets her take a crack at it, and he listens while Carrie talks to Lauren. And I was so upset when Carrie suggested for Lauren to wear a wire. And you could see that Lauren felt conflicted, like she wasn't sure about it, but Carrie was reminding Lauren about her future and how her opportunities could be ruined. But when she threw in that it could help catch Jabari's killer, that's when Lauren decided to cooperate. So at this point, guys, I'm scared for Lauren's life, and I'm pissed at Professor Milgram for suggesting this, Like, you're not really on nobody's side if you're creating snitches around here. Because think about it, she ain't snitching. She just got a gun put to her head from Monet, and she didn't run to the freaking cops and say nothing about that. So why the heck would she coerce this little girl into being a snitch, all right? Basically putting her life in danger. Next, Monet goes to Lorenzo to ask him for his signature to mortgage the house to help Zeke. She tells him that they'll get the money back as soon as Zeke is cleared and he goes to the draft. But Lorenzo says absolutely not. So Monet says, you would do it if one of the kids were in trouble. And Lorenzo says, yeah, I would. And they're not in trouble. Then he says, I know you love your nephew, but we need to think about your family first. So Monet is practically begging him now, right? And she says, how often do I ask you for anything? Hardly ever, and I'm asking you for this, please. But Lorenzo says, sorry, can't do it. Then he says, use the money that's stashed at the bar. And she was like, yeah, I'll use that. Next, Drew comes up with a plan to get Zeke's teammates to help Zeke. This includes a protest video and a GoFundMe set up by the coach. And of course, Drew made this happen with the help of Ev. Anyway, the team basically goes on a strike and lets the people know that they're not playing until Zeke is exonerated. But after Drew and Ev have a bonding moment, Ev tells Drew that he may have mentioned his name when he was questioned by Jabari and Carrie about what happened the night they got jumped. So Drew was like, you're just now telling me this? Do you understand how this could affect me or my family? Then Everett was like, your family is the reason you got shot and why Zeke is being accused of murder. So Drew says, you don't know the first thing about my family, which means you don't know nothing about me. Then he leaves, and I guess he was so pissed off and ready to get out of there that he didn't even want to put the rest of his clothes on because he rushed up out of there with just his drawers on, guys. Next, Effie and Diana team up to do a little scam shopping. During this time, Effie tells Diana that she shouldn't mess with Tariq because he can't be trusted, and staying away from him will save her a lot of grief. Trust me, right? So Diana tells Effie that she's not messing with Tariq and she wants her first time to be with someone special or the right person, right? And I said, okay, Diana, I know that's right, baby. Next, Drew knocks out a reporter or journalist because he was harassing Zeke and brought up his father's name. So Davis comes to the house and tells Monet that the reporter will press charges unless Zeke does an interview. And I don't think this is a good thing at all, guys, right? At this point, because you just never know what will happen or what will come out of Zeke's mouth. And we do see later on what happens. But unfortunately, Zeke didn't have a choice, okay? Next, Brayden tells Tariq that Lauren can't know anything about their business. And Reek tells him that when he chills with Lauren, they're going to be in her room, okay? So he doesn't have to worry about that. Plus, he ain't thinking about none of that right now because he has way bigger things to worry about, like the video surveillance he bribed from a store owner that showed his grandmother buying cases of liquor and hemming up Yaz when she came into the store. So yeah, Tariq is preoccupied. Next, Brayden assists Kane in robbing a jewelry store, and Brayden actually tried to shoot the owner, but the gun jammed, so he gun-butted the guy instead. When Brayden tells Kane that the gun he gave him jammed, Kane tells Brayden that he jammed it because he didn't want him shooting nobody. And that was actually a clever call for Kane. Maybe Mecca is rubbing off on him a little bit, I don't know. But anyway, while Kane had on a mask and gloves, Brayden had nothing to disguise himself with, right? But that was fine because Kane shot the cameras. Plus, Brayden needed to get the guy to trust him to open the door. But the no gloves thing, okay, that might be an issue because Brayden touched the door handle when they were leaving. Next, McLean and Tariq go over to Monet's house to prep Zeke for his interview. And during the interview, guys, everything seemed to go well until this witch Jamel decides to go off script and asks Zeke about Detective Ramirez. And my thing is this: if you're going to play the footage of the man's alibi, why would you bother bringing up the gun that was found at the murder scene? It was like she was trying to trap Zeke and get him caught up, you know? But Zeke shouldn't have lied about not knowing Ramirez, especially if he already gave up the PBA card. Ugh. Anyway, this witch was really reaching, guys, talking about we cross-referenced Detective Ramirez's schedule with your games, and he never came to any of them. So when she tells Zeke that the police theory is that he paid Ramirez to kill Professor Reynolds, Zeke was like, this is some BS, and walked off the set. And we already know that this ain't no police theory, okay? This is Detective Whitman's theory. Anyway, after the interview, McLean tells Monet and the family that the DA's office wants Zeke to turn himself in by tomorrow morning. So Monet tells McLean to keep working on Zeke's defense and she'll get him his money. Then she goes outside and tells Kane to meet her at a park. This is when Monet asks Kane what the heck is going on with Ramirez's gun being found at Jabari's murder scene. And Kane tells her everything, including Tariq's hand in the situation. So Monet says she'll hear Tariq's side later, but right now she needs Kane to go dig up Ramirez's body because CSI could figure out that Ramirez was dead before Jabari was, right? Which will put Zeke in the clear. So Kane was like, okay, it puts Zeke in the clear, but what about me? What if it backs up on me? And Monet says, you made your choice, Kane, and it is what it is. And some of y'all already know that I don't like Kane, right? But I honestly hate for him to feel like he's expendable to his mother, you know. But Monet is right. Kane made that choice, and it ain't right for Zeke to go down for it, you know. Anyway, after Kane walks off, Monet gets a text from Davis, and he lets her know that Zeke's bill has been paid in full. He was like, man, you're fast, you know, but we know that it wasn't Monet who paid it. And the only person I see looking out for Monet like this is Mecca, okay? These are my thoughts before everything played out in the rest of the episode. Next, Estelle comes to Tariq's dorm and lets him know that she will not allow him to take Yaz from her. But Tariq tells her that she needs help and offers to pay for her to go to rehab. So Estelle tells Tariq that Raina would be ashamed of him and that every evil that has befallen this family is because of him. Then she tells him that she will see him in court. I was like, whew, that was sad though, honestly, right? But the grandmother, she ain't lying. Tariq has caused the family a lot of freaking grief with his decisions, okay? Next, Monet goes to see Mecca because she knows he was the one who paid Zeke's bill. So Monet says, how am I supposed to explain to my husband that another man paid a bill to help my nephew, right? And Mecca says, you mean to help our son? And guys, this is when I screamed because I was just about to do a theory video on this, right? I told you guys in my previous video. And I honestly thought that I had time before Monet's love child was revealed. I really didn't think that they would reveal it so soon. So still pissed off at myself. But yeah, Zeke not Cain, is Monet and Mecca'S love child. Anyway, Mecca tells Monet that he understands why she did things the way she did, right? Why she hid everything. And right now, he just wants to be there by her side, fighting for Zeke. So Monet got some choices to make, guys. Does she want to be with Lorenzo or Mecca? I doubt it's Lorenzo. Next, we also get a scene where Tariq goes to Lauren's room. He had to apologize for bugging out on her earlier and leaving like that, but he just said everything that could go wrong went wrong, and he just needs to get away. So she's like, I'm here for you. And so they start kissing, and then she's taking off her sweater, but her watch is making that a little difficult, okay? This is the watch that Kamal Tate gave to her, all right, as a wire. And when Tariq notices it, he's like, oh, is this a new rollie that your parents gave you? And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, okay, hold on. So she goes into the bathroom and she takes it off. She puts it in her little medicine cabinet. And a part of me just wishes that she would tell Tariq what's going on, right? Like she would just be honest and say, look, Tariq, I'm kind of in a bind right now. They found drugs in my drawer because of Rashad'S, and now they want me to be their little snitch, okay? Let him know about the watch so this way he can be on his guard, and it could also help him be like 10 steps ahead of everything, you know, and plan around that whole situation. Another thing that I would hope that would do is that it would make him trust her even more, you know what I'm saying? But you never know. People don't be liking snitches, but Lauren, she's cut from a different cloth, so I think Tariq would understand that. But I think her being honest with him about that situation would be better off than to find out later on that he said some incriminating information that winds up getting him in trouble, all because his girlfriend has a freaking wire. All right, that's a secret that she doesn't need to keep from him, in my opinion. All right. Next, Kamal goes to Whitman and tells him that he found some information in this book that Jabari was writing that he thinks he would be interested in. Now, I'm wondering what kind of information this is. We do know that Jabari was plagiarizing Tariq, right? Taking all of his stuff. So for me, all I could think of is that whatever this information is, it's leading right back to Tariq, and it's going to cause more trouble for this guy. All right? Anyway, next, Ramirez's body is found and they determine that he's been dead for about 2 weeks. So this should definitely clear Zeke, right? And I'd love to know what Whitman's next move is now. Next, Braden and Kane get back to the dorm, and while Braden is throwing up, Kane puts Ramirez's badge in Tariq's drawer. Then he tells Braden that he'll see him tomorrow, and to tell Tariq that he'll be seeing him too. And that's how the episode ended, guys. But honestly, Kane would have never thought to do this if he didn't let Mecca know that he was going to leave town. Because Mecca told him to pin it on someone else, right? Well, he suggested it. He's like, is there anybody else that you can pin it on? And I'm not liking that Kane is receiving help from Mecca. You know, it's just like, this guy, Kane, he's no good. And to have someone with Mecca's brains behind him to just aid him in these devilish acts, it's not good for anybody, you know? So I'm not here for that. Anyway, guys, that's my video. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, you guys take care and be blessed. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.